All right. What's up, everybody? What's up? So, it's good to see you all in the chat. I see a lot of people were waiting for this. Uh, so the story about this is that for like a week straight, people have been asking me to react to this video called "The Man Who Broke God of War in Half." I have not seen it. I know Critical made a reaction to it, but I didn't watch that video. So yeah, I decided to start watching it simply because everybody has been asking me to. Let me just know if you guys could hear me, if everything is good. If the quality of the video, like not the quality, if the audio was too loud on the video itself, let me know. But when I talk, I'm going to pause it. So I just want to give shout outs to some people in chat before we begin. So shout outs to Mariko, High IQ, what's up, man? Slick Drip Beerus, Verpula, I'm sorry if I just butchered the hell out of your name. Sea King, Figo, Slick Drip Beerus, good to see you again, buddy. Blue Strike, Gaming in Space, Adam Sin, Zeus Ultra, Jake Woo. We have so many people in here, so I guess we should jump right into the reaction. Again, if there's any issues with like the audio being too loud, let me know. But yeah, we're just gonna jump into it.
When God of War was released in March 2005,
let me know if you can hear the video.
People had interest in speedrunning the game almost immediately. Only a week after the game came out, a thread would be created on the speedrun-focused website Speed Demos Archive. Multiple users on the forum showed interest in creating a full segmented speedrun of the game. God of War, however, posed a severe challenge to anyone wanting to speedrun it.
I've never thought of this game as a speedrunning type of game, to be honest with you.
The game can be extremely challenging, and tactics for getting through the game easier were not exactly developed. Starting right from the game's inception in 2005, a small handful of players took on the challenge of speedrunning this brutal game. Runs would be performed that showcased impressive strategies, glitches, and shortcuts that beat the game faster than ever before.
Everything sounds good.
In the early years of God of War speedrunning, one run stood out. That came from a player that stood out. A person who had such a profound impact on the way the game would be played for many years to come. Welcome to episode 3 of this series. Today, we're gonna take a look at the man who broke God of War in half. But
you know, I've never thought of God of War 1 as a speedrunning type of game. I didn't really ever speedrun the old God of War games, but this is my first introduction to it. I saw some clips, but this is my first introduction, so.
First, a word from our sponsor. Man, how'd I end up in this rotten sewer? This place stinks. Hey Slim, why don't you just change your location?
Is this Raid Shadow Legends? What's up, Spartan Army?
I'm stuck down here.
What's up, Nerf?
Well, it's easy. Just use NordVPN.
NordVPN, okay, cool.
With NordVPN, you can change your location to anywhere you want. This is useful if specific songs, movies, or other things only show in certain countries. This is really helpful for my own research, but also for personal enjoyment, since sometimes underground songs don't always like showing up on YouTube for me. If you're interested in the service and want to show support to the channel, you can use the link that's on screen right now or in the description to begin your 2-year plan.
What up, good
Start
fellas?
using NordVPN today by heading on over to nordvpn.com/therixer. If you're unhappy with your purchase, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee that has you covered. Again, that's nordvpn.com/therixer.
Use his code, everybody.
To fill the gaps if you haven't played the original God of War, or if it's been a while, allow me to briefly show you the game's level order, so you're up to speed. Kratos' goal is to acquire Pandora's box.
Yeah, it's good seeing this old shit again, man.
To slay a god, which he plans to use against Ares, the god of war. To acquire Pandora's box, Kratos has a long journey ahead of him. You start in the Aegean Sea, where you take down the big Hydra. You then make your way through the city of Athens, and arrive at the Temple of the Oracle. You then traverse the Athens sewers, and enter the Desert of Lost Souls.
Chat, remember, this game came out in 2005, and it looks so fucking good.
Where you find Kronos, the Titan, who has Pandora's temple fixated on his back. The majority of the game takes place inside of the temple, and within it, Kratos is faced with 3 trap-filled gauntlets: Challenge of Atlas, Challenge of Poseidon, and Challenge of Hades. Once cleared, you proceed to the Cliffs of Madness. At the end of the cliffs, you get to the Architect's tomb and acquire Pandora's box. Ares, the god of war, then lunges a pillar all the way from Athens to the temple, impaling Kratos, sending him to the underworld.
This shit is like... I have to play through God of War 1 again eventually. It looks so good.
You then fight your way through Hades and climb the giant rope at the end, so you can literally climb your way out of hell. You arrive at the ruined temple of the Oracle, and finally face off against Ares. Upon his defeat, you sit on the throne as the new god of war, and that's the game.
Spoilers,
Now, I
goddammit.
made that all sound fairly quick, but God of War can be a pretty long game due to its difficulty and large areas you have to traverse. The first person who decided to record their speedrun of God of War would be Prism, who got a segmented time of 2:49:51, using the in-game timer and playing on God mode, the game's hardest difficulty. Prism released his run on October 1st, 2005, only half a year after the game came out.
I've never beaten the game on God
His
mode,
run was a decent
ever.
showing for the time, although it was more or less a speedy casual playthrough with no notable skips or shortcuts. Regardless, not bad, considering the game was in its infancy. Another runner by the name of Ball of Snow would do his own segmented speedrun in 2006, and improve on Prism's time with a 2:16:23. Ball of Snow also played the game on God mode, and completed his run in 20 segments as opposed to Prism's 17. Ball of Snow's time save came from cleaning up most of the sloppiness of Prism's run, and also through a sequence break in Challenge of Hades that saved around 6 minutes. The run got a lot of positive feedback, and was generally viewed in high regard. The run still persists on Speed Demo's archive and archive.org, where someone was so impressed by the run, they decided to give it a review and a 5-star rating. The reviewer's name was God Mode God, and was a God of War player.
Wait, is it... Instead of GBG, we have GMG.
Who mainly focused
Shoutouts.
on challenge runs and no.
Thank you for the $5 donation, Figo. Says John Army in the house. Sincerely appreciate you. Can't wait for Odin. All right, man. Me too. I appreciate the $5 donation, dude.
Upgrade runs. He was rather impressed with Ball of Snow's speedy tactics and how the various fights in the game were handled expertly. Entering the year 2007, God Mode God would create a speedrun-focused thread over at GameSpot on a forum called the Ultimate God of War Union, where players would share their accomplishments and tactics for God of War 1 and 2. God Mode God was sort of the figurehead of the scene at the time. Going under the name The Creeper on the forums, he was one of the main people establishing proper rule
Shout outs to
sets,
GBG, but we
listing
got
times,
GMG out
posting
here,
strategies, and welcoming newcomers. The forum was rather small, and didn't contain many members, but the community was tight-knit, with a shared interest for a classic PS2 franchise. But one night, a new user joined the forum, and he went by Sathara. The entry post from this new user went as follows. Speedruns. It's good I found this board. I've done some speedrunning myself. I started playing God of War 1 2 or 3 months ago, and after I had unlocked everything, I decided to personally challenge myself to a time attack. I played under New Game / Hero settings, and reached the final save in 1:21:41.
He beat God of War in 1 hour and 21 minutes? What the fuck?
It wasn't perfect or anything, and I probably should have spent more time with it. Additionally, some of the videos linked here had some intriguing and useful strategies I didn't use. Nevertheless, I'm still satisfied with my time overall.
1 hour and 21
Yeah,
minutes?
Who wouldn't be with a time like that?
What the
This
fuck?
Sathara person is claiming a time 55 minutes faster than Ball of Snow's 2:16. Now, of course, there was no video to go along with this claim, so forum users were perhaps a bit skeptical.
I'm a bit
After
skeptical.
all, Sathara was new to the forums and had no credibility. God Mode God welcomed Sathara to the forum, and upon seeing his supposed time of 1:21, his reaction was not bad, not really knowing what to
Not
say
bad.
for such a suspicious claim. On the internet, anybody can technically claim whatever they want. At this point, speedrunners are all too familiar with various YouTube comments of people.
Chat, I get this all the time, right? I remember there was a time where people was like, oh, I beat God of War blindfolded or some shit every fucking day. I swear to everything.
Claiming outlandish times. It was hard to tell whether Sathara was legit or just some random troll looking to cause a stir. Sathara also said in his initial post that his run was missing a couple of strategies he didn't know about. God Mode God and another user, Mystery Man, then started guessing time estimates of how low the time could go had he used those strategies he said he was missing. Now, keep in mind, these two users didn't even know what strategies would have taken place for a 1:21, let alone even lower than that. This, of course, annoyed Sathara, and tensions would begin to rise on the forum. Allow me to reenact Sathara's response to these posts in dramatic fashion.
Okay.
I think it's time I laid my cards out on the table. I can't help but laugh at the fact that you guys are making time estimates based on a time you know nothing about. A 121 is impossible, and both of you have really no idea how impossible it is. You could try and try, but you would never come close.
Bro, just
at
film
least
yourself.
With what you know. God Mode God would respond. Should have just done what I intended in my last post, which is to mention how perfectly Ball of Snow did God Mode. It doesn't matter how good you aren't doing much better even on Hero. I try not to immediately shoot down newcomers anymore, as I often would if they made such claims. I even let you buy without asking for proof and the like, which is unlike me. You got lucky.
You got
You
lucky.
really should have, because your not bad comment almost made me think you were an idiot. I seriously contemplating never coming back here and perhaps going somewhere else.
Bruh,
But I think I'll be sticking
they're about
around
to
now.
kill each
and
other,
get that
man.
SDA run out of your head. You won't be needing it anymore. We'll see soon enough. Don't forget, however, that I'm here to give back, and it's only because I admire what you're trying to build here. If you so will it, we'll move forward together. If not, so be it.
If he can prove he got this time, bruh, GMG, leave chat.
Enough talk. The discussion would continue like this into the night, and by now, other users of the forum were also beginning to believe that Sathara's claim was fraudulent. What was with all the talk?
Bro, if he
Where
proves
was
it,
the proof? I mean, surely, this was all just one big bluff, right? After a few days of silence from Sathara, he would return back to the forum, delivering the goods. The videos to his run were posted, slowly but surely, part by part.
Hold on, what year?
This
This
is
is
when everyone
2007?
started to realize the genius
Alright.
that is Sathara. Not only was his claim of 121 legit, the glitches and strategies used to get the time were all discovered
My man.
independently. No prior reference, such as the runs from Prism or Ball of Snow, was ever used. Sathara, in 2007, had virtually cracked God of War open, all in complete isolation.
Imagine proving an entire chat room wrong. Let's go. How are those roll cancels like that so possible? I try that shit and I can barely do it. What? Wait. What? I hope he explains all these glitches. I know how to do the infinite magic glitch. That I know how to do. You have to do that in like Medusa's room.
The run was absolutely astounding.
Here we go.
Sathara had completely flipped the game on its head, all by himself, and several forum users went from skeptical to extremely impressed very quickly. But what was it that Sathara was doing over runners prior that put his time in a league of his own? Let's take a deeper look at Sathara's 121 to see where he managed to save so much time.
This is what I want to see.
Most runners in the early days of God of War speedrunning insisted on playing on God mode,
I don't know
since it
why.
was viewed as the most skillful way to play through the game. But difficulty practically didn't matter after Sathara's run, as he found one of, if not the most impactful glitch in the entire game, the infinite regenerating magic glitch.
Yeah, I know this one.
Not too long after you arrive in
Medusa's
Athens, you
area,
have to
right?
engage in a tutorial fight against a Medusa.
Yeah.
Upon defeating it, you acquire Medusa's Gaze, a magic spell you can cast to stone enemies. The game wants you to try the spell out on some Minotaur enemies, but for the purpose of the tutorial, you are granted infinitely regenerating magic to try the spell out as much as you'd like.
Yep.
Instead of defeating the enemies, Sathara makes his way to a spot where he can clip out of bounds, and after some crafty seam walking and tricky jumps, Sathara
There's an
escapes
easier
the
way to do
tutorial
that
room.
though. There's a way easier way to do that.
The game still assumes Kratos to be in the tutorial fight, and thus, you now have infinitely regenerating magic for the rest of the game. It didn't matter much whether Sathara was on hero or god mode, otherwise difficult fights became trivial. Magic took care of everything. There was also no need to gather phoenix feathers to increase your magic meter. something that both Prism and Ball of Snow had to do all over the game. This is by far one of the most groundbreaking glitches in the history of the game, saving time virtually everywhere in the run. Sathara had discovered two big movement techniques that he used throughout his run to reach higher and further places. A standard high jump was already a known discovery in 2006, but Sathara had found an improved version using Poseidon's Rage in the air to reach higher places in multiple spots. One of the places where this saved the most amount of time was in Cliffs of Madness. Normally, you need to acquire 2 necklaces to extend a bridge fully to make it across. Sathara, however, only got 1 necklace to extend the bridge to its midway point. He then used a Poseidon's Rage high jump to make it to the upper area.
Then you jump on the ledge, yeah. I didn't know you can do it there, though.
And used another Poseidon's
I had no
Rage high
idea
jump
you can do it
to make
there.
it to the other side, skipping the second necklace and saving over 8 minutes in total. The other movement technique Sathara had discovered was a way to extend Kratos' jump to gain further distance by swinging the Blades of Chaos in midair.
What did he do?
At Athens Town Square, Sathara used this technique to reach the bridge in the middle of the plaza early.
Wait. I'm just gonna rewind it for a second. What did you say? How do you do a long
movement
jump?
technique Sathara had discovered was a way to extend Kratos' jump to gain further distance by swinging the Blades of Chaos in midair.
Okay.
At Athens Town Square, Sathara used this technique to reach the bridge in the middle of the plaza early. This jump might not look like much, until you realize that this entirely skips the level Rooftops of Athens, and it also skips the collection of the magic Zeus's Fury, saving over 11 minutes.
That's fucked.
The same
I
long
had
jump
no
technique
idea.
was used in Challenge of Atlas to skip an underground section where you have to fight a bunch of enemies on a rope. Sathara simply did a long jump from a certain height of the rope that descended into the cave.
Bro, you can
and
skip that
collected the
whole...
Shield of Hades early. This saved almost 2 minutes. The forced fight thereafter was quickly taken care of with Infinite Magic, Poseidon's Rage level 2, and Blade combos. In order to proceed further into Challenge of Atlas, a second shield is needed for further progression.
Yeah.
And Sathara had found a big shortcut for this one too. A Poseidon's Rage high jump was sufficient in reaching the ledge where the second shield is located, saving another minute and a half over the game's...
Bro, that's wild. I used to struggle in this room as a kid, and this guy just completely fucking skips it. With something I already knew how to do. That's fucked. This is so
Right after
cool.
obtaining the Infinite Magic, you are required to climb a set of walls infested with enemies until you reach a statue you need to push over. Sathara was able to skip the walls entirely with some crafty double jumps to reach the statue before intended. A quick 20-second save. When you first set foot in Challenge of Hades, you have to fight a bunch of centaurs to open a door to a maze. You then enter the maze, where you're required to defeat all of the enemies to open the final door to progress.
You can skip this area.
This is effectively what Prism did in his run, but the previously mentioned sequence break that Ball of Snow had used was a way of clipping through the top of the maze due to some dodgy collision, saving over 6 minutes on Prism.
You can just go through the
maze
wall.
due to some dodgy collision, saving over 6 minutes on Prism. Sathara, however, had found an even better way all on his own.
This shit can't be real, man.
And entering the maze. A standard high jump was enough to ledge grab the platform where the button at the end of the maze
Is this
was
real?
located.
This can't be
Easy
real,
money
yo.
for an additional 3 minutes. To top it all off, Sathara managed to skip a ton of forced fights by finding clever ways of getting around the fight triggers. The introductory fight against the satyrs in Cliffs of Madness was skipped with a Poseidon's Rage high jump.
Wait, what is he doing?
Also in Cliffs of Madness, a fight inside
he
of a
skipped
cave
the
was
whole
bypassed
sequence.
with a long jump.
Bro, what?
The infamous conveyor belt fight against the Harpies in the Architect's Tomb
You can skip
was
this
skipped
fucking room?
by hugging the corner of the room and avoiding the fight trigger. This skip was actually already found by someone else in 2006.
This is by far the hardest fight in the game with enemies, and you can just skip it by going to the left side of the screen, and it just won't happen.
But Sathara had also found it by himself.
That's fucking insane.
Finally, a big clash against some Cyclops and Minotaurs in the ruined Temple of the Oracle was avoided by just barely jumping over the fight trigger. All of these aforementioned fights would otherwise take a minute or two each, so Sathara gained some hefty time throughout the run from avoiding them.
You can just roll cancel that whole shit.
As Sathara rolled his way through Mount Olympus, he had finished his segmented run. The time at the final save point was truthful to his original post. 1:21:41 done in August 2007.
Yo, shout outs to
If
the
there was
man.
any doubts as to whether or not Sathara's run was actually done in isolation, there are a very few select instances where Ball of Snow's run actually has superior strategies. Strategies Sathara could have utilized had he chosen to look up the run. The two notable points where Sathara's run is worse is in the Aegean Sea when fighting the Hydra, and using Rage of the Gods against a group of archers in Cliffs of Madness when Army of Hades was the better choice.
Oh wait, because you're
Despite
in
these
rage
tiny
mode, you're
flaws,
invulnerable?
the run completely shattered expectations. People on the Ultimate God of War Union forum were floored as to how Sathara was able to dismantle the game in so many different ways, all on his own.
I can't believe
God
this shit
Mode
is
God
real.
still did not approve of Sathara's behavior coming into the forum.
Are you serious, GMG? Come on, man. He just proved you wrong. You're still not happy with him? What the fuck?
But decided to give credit where
Oh.
credit is due.
Okay. There we go.
Sathara's reasoning behind
him his
showing the
props.
run to the Ultimate God of War Union rather than Speed Demo's archive was a matter of acceptance. Sathara notably did not submit his run to SDA for a couple of reasons. SDA did not allow out-of-bounds glitches back in 2007.
Oh, I remember that.
And
They
while
were so
Kratos
anal
technically
about
never
that.
leaves the intended game area in his 121, Sathara envisioned a long and drawn-out discussion about what was and wasn't out of bounds. Sathara sensed that the moderation team over at SDA simply did not know God of War to the extent he did, so he didn't
Yeah,
bother
they were
submitting.
so anal about
The
that back
infinite
in the day.
regenerating magic glitch was also seen as an exploit so huge a separate category was in the discussion on the forums if a
That's-
submission was to happen.
That's wild.
Sathara felt that SDA's rule set was hindering the game from its potential. He felt that glitches and sequence breaks were both valid in beating the game as quickly as possible.
So did thousands of other people.
Foreshadowing
That's why
to
they
the
changed
way we
it.
view speedrunning today.
Yeah, exactly.
With glitches being one of the main draws for the culture as a whole.
Yeah.
The Ultimate
So
God
that
of War
was just
Union
saying.
seemed more in line with this way of thinking, which is why he chose to reveal his run over there. Overall though, Sathara was happy enough with the result of 121, and eventually shifted his focus more towards glitching and sequence breaking following the completion of his run.
Is that the world record today? Can someone in chat look that up for me? Like, is 121 still the world record?
Sathara was not done just yet. In late 2007 and 2008, Sathara went on what I can only describe as a killing spree when it came to God of War glitches.
What the fuck is happening? Why is the entire map black? Oh, he's jumping in and out the map.
After his groundbreaking performance, Sathara still felt that the game had more room for breakthroughs. I apologize
It's
for
not
the
the world
upcoming
record.
2008 video quality, but it wouldn't be an authentic speedrun documentary without it, if you ask me. One of his first major discoveries was a way to skip the desert sirens in the Desert of Lost Souls. Athena demands that you hunt down the 3 sirens that are roaming the desert in order to proceed through a small ruined temple. Sathara had figured out a way to get into the temple early by using the move Hermes Rush in the air to clip through some collision on a wall,
Wait,
completely skipping
I missed that. Hold on.
the
Let's get
move-
the chat.
a ruined temple. Sathara had figured out a way to get into the temple early by using the move Hermes Rush in the air to clip through some collision on a wall, completely skipping killing the desert sirens, saving around 2 minutes.
You can clip
Sathara's
under.
Gates of Athens skip was now further extended with a crazy looking out of bounds to save even more time. More minutes were gained here due to skipping knocking over the statue and the handful of fights that followed.
But
soon
how does that
afterwards.
work? Let me know. Please tell me how it works. That's insane.
When you first reach Pandora's temple, you must speak with a gatekeeper that can open the entrance for Kratos. You then fight some big Cyclops enemies and proceed into the temple. Sathara was able to discover a way to skip both of these requirements by using a grounded Hermes Rush to wedge himself between a chest and a wall. He then
Okay.
double jumped behind the gate to reach the stairs early, saving nearly 3 minutes.
I had no
This
idea
one
God of
seems
War
to have
1 was
garnered some
fucked.
attention within the mighty YouTube algorithm. Not bad for an old skip from 2008.
I had no idea God of War 1 was so broken. It looked like such a polished game on the
One of
surface.
Sathara's biggest contributions to the game around this time was a huge sequence break discovered in the very first level, the Aegean Sea. In a casual playthrough, after you climb the ship's mast, you're intended to make your way over to a second ship by sliding along a rope.
Okay.
On this other ship is where you obtain Poseidon's Rage, fight the big Hydra, and get a key for your troubles.
Okay.
You're meant to use this key on a door to reach the end of the level, but Sathara had found a pretty ridiculous jump to skip the large detour. Watch and observe.
Oh, I think I know this one. Like you jump off the side of the ship, right? Off the rope. Oh, this is what I was talking about on stream yesterday.
A massive leap from the ship's mast
Did he-
down to a very thin ledge below. If you're just too far left, you fall and die. And if you're just too far right, you'll clip back in bounds. Precision is the name of the game. Sathara then jumps along the out-of-bounds seam and jumps over the locked door.
You can jump. That's
While this skip
That's
does
fucked.
save over 4 minutes, it wasn't utilized in speedruns for the sole reason that Poseidon's Rage was a necessary component in making skips later in the game possible. But I did mention this one for a reason. More on it later. After breaking Poseidon's trident free from its crystallized cage, Kratos must traverse a section underwater.
Okay.
An out-of-bounds through a small roof was discovered at some point in 2006, but the potential wasn't fully realized until Sathara gave it another look in February 2008. In a 3-minute-long YouTube video, Sathara completed the entirety of this underwater section from out of bounds by figuring out where all the loading triggers are located. This discovery must have been both difficult and annoying to solve.
Yeah, chat, that means he swam all around the darkness to try to find each loading spot.
Mainly due to you having to keep Kratos out of bounds the whole time while constantly fighting the uncooperative camera. All in all, a bit over a minute and a half was gained here. In the Temple of the Oracle, Kratos must save the Oracle from falling off a rope she's desperately clinging onto for dear life. In brutal God of War fashion, we can leave her hanging by clipping through the door to the next section. Sathara once again
No
used the
fucking
aerial
way.
Hermes rush move in a very specific spot to get through to the other side, skipping the act of saving the Oracle and the 2-minute cutscene that follows. Valuable time save, but extremely difficult to pull off.
Are you out of your mind, bro?
The 2 shields that Sathara had to acquire in his run to open a door in Challenge of Atlas could now be skipped, and saved a huge amount of time. It was figured out that the Blade of Artemis could be used as a form of high jump, which proved useful in many spots. Sathara jumps
just
onto
jumped
a
like 5
chest and
times
holds
there.
triangle to perform an ascension. He then swings
Okay.
the Blade of Artemis and uses Poseidon's Rage in combination for more height. He's able to clip out of bounds and jump around the door that requires the 2 shields, saving nearly 5 minutes over his old run. As if that wasn't enough, Sathara found a better version of this skip a few months later that skipped to the very final door in Challenge of Atlas. Inside the infamous spike corridor in Pandora's Temple, you can clip out of bounds by hanging onto the side of one of the crushers.
No fucking
This
way.
requires a well-timed Poseidon's Rage high jump so that Kratos is able to grab the ledge of the crusher when it's visible. After clipping out of bounds, you have to navigate Kratos blindly on a thin stretch of floor, constantly in danger of falling down or accidentally clipping back in bounds.
No
This is
fucking
followed by
way.
another Poseidon's Rage high jump right through the floor of the exit tunnel of Challenge of Atlas. This way, you can go through Challenge of Atlas backwards to acquire the Architect's son's head, without doing anything else in the level.
Oh, my PC. Oh, I gotta put on my charger. Hold on. Oh, God. Let me put this in real quick. There we go.
When Kratos finally reaches Pandora's box, a 1-minute cutscene plays that informs him that he must bring the box back to Athens. Of course, Sathara found a way around this too. He simply went out of bounds using the Blade of Artemis and Poseidon's Rage in the room before the box. Seam walked on the outside of the room and free fell all the way down the shaft you're supposed to take the box through. After hitting the loading trigger at the bottom of the shaft, the game gives you Pandora's box despite never watching the cutscene. It seems that nothing was impossible for
Yo,
Sathara.
the God of War 1 is so broken. I've played this game for years and I didn't realize any of this. And the fact that he found all of this out of bound shit where you're blindly making Kratos try to get to these loading spots is insane. You know how much time this shit must have taken? I can't even talk.
I feel like I would be doing Sathara dirty if I didn't mention his God of War playthrough that skipped collecting all magics and the Blade of Artemis in late 2008. Some of the
Bro.
skips used for this playthrough I've already gone over, such as the Hydra 3 skip to bypass Poseidon's Rage, and a similar but improved out of bounds in the Medusa room to skip Medusa's gaze. A puzzle later in Athens requires you to freeze a Minotaur onto a button with Medusa's gaze, so Sathara had to find a way around this room to complete the playthrough. It's hard to tell from the video quality, but Sathara did manage to find a skip by jumping over a pile of rubble outside of the puzzle room with the assistance of the attack Apollo's offensive. for
Wait,
more
I
length
can't-
to clear the wall.
I can't
Zeus's
tell what
Fury
area
was
that
skipped
is.
straight afterwards with the classic long jump we saw from earlier. The Blade of Artemis was skipped with an obscure trick known as gliding, performed by using Hermes' Rush into
What?
the wall and blocking to gain some rather strange momentum to effectively glide around the trigger that gives you the blade.
Yo, Hermes
Finally,
Rush destroyed
Army of
this
Hades
game. They
was
shouldn't
skipped
have
with an out of
included
bounds
it.
in the Pandora's Guardian room, followed by some seam walking to get around the trigger for the magic. The end of the video shows Kratos in Olympus with no magics or sub-weapons collected. A huge flex, yet seemingly another day in the office for Sathara.
You can beat God of War 1 if you know how to do all these glitches. You can beat it getting none of the sub-weapons or magic attacks just by skipping through each door. He's the GOAT. I'm sorry. He's the GOAT.
One final discovery I'll talk about for now is one I cannot believe was found in 2008. The difficulty on this skip is above anything I've mentioned prior.
Okay.
This is the Sacrifice Room, a room that saw some controversy when the game came out.
Yeah, I remember
Kratos
this.
must bring a caged soldier to the room,
Burn him
then
alive.
burn and sacrifice him to proceed. A skip for this room didn't really seem feasible, but as we know by now, nothing stands in the way of Sathara. He uses the Blade of Artemis and Poseidon's Rage the first get out of bounds to stand on a tiny seam outside of the level.
Okay.
More Blade of Artemis high jumps are used to land further along the level.
So he's constantly using the high jumps to jump over like what?
And then
Invisible
finally, one long string of high jumps to get under the sacrifice door, where Sathara barely makes it with his last jump before running out of magic.
So you have to get it perfectly timed so you don't run out of magic. But how did he figure this shit out?
A few years later in 2012,
That's insane,
a new
yo.
way of high jumping without Poseidon's Rage was discovered, now
What is
using
this?
Medusa's Gaze.
What the fuck
This
is this?
finally makes Sathara's old Hydra skip from years prior viable in single-segment speedruns. With Poseidon's Rage completely out of the route, this would increase the difficulty of a few of the known sequence breaks, most notably
He's the
Sacrifice Skip,
GOAT,
a
yo.
skip no one dared to use in single-segment runs until 2020, a whole 12 years after
2020.
Sathara first discovered it.
2020.
I mostly went over Sathara's bigger discoveries in this video, but honestly, I'm kinda scraping the tip of the iceberg.
Wait, what are you
If I
talking
truly
about?
went over everything, we'd be here for hours.
Go over everything.
Viewers on
I'm down
YouTube
with
saw
it.
Sathara's videos as a spectacle. His glitch videos inspired other players to try their hand
Wait, was that
at Sathara's
GMG?
videos as a spectacle.
Look, GMG, Rush to Hermes Stomp did that. Look, and this guy was hating on him when he first started. Hating on him. Shout outs to GMG, man, but damn.
His glitch videos inspired other players to try their hand at breaking God of
Damn,
War.
GMG was like
And
the
many
first
great
person to
findings
doubt
would
him,
take
yo.
place in 2008 and 2009, not just from Sathara. Entering 2009,
Wow.
however, Sathara's video uploads would become few and far between.
No.
In March 2009, he uploaded a video demonstrating a way to cancel the Hydra's energy regeneration with extremely precise grabs, something that other players could not seem to get the hang of at the time due to its difficulty. The description of the video suddenly announced that this would be his last God of War video.
He retired
In
in
the comments,
2009?
Sathara said that he was done and didn't want anything to do with the game anymore. Many community members at the time,
man.
such as Akion, Turyu, and God Mode God,
G-
were all sad
GMG,
to see
he's
Sathara
back.
go. He had done so much for the game, and his videos were nothing short of inspirational. As a result, the initial golden age of God of War sequence breaking would slowly fade out. Activity dwindled, and the game would have to wait for the second coming.
This is another. Oh my gosh. There's more? This game is that broken? Oh, Metal Gear
Throughout
music,
the
let's go.
PS3's lifespan, the God of War games would see a handful of re-releases on the console, updating the graphics to HD and also porting over some of the PSP games that not everybody got to play.
Thank
One
God,
would
better
think
quality
this would
video.
reinvigorate some activity amongst the speedrun community, especially with a God of War 1 trophy that challenges you to beat the game in under 5 hours. There were a couple of segmented runs in 2011 and 2012 that were in the works from two new runners, but both of these never made it past the halfway point in the game. Someone just needed to pick up the pieces to re-spark the activity in the scene. In August 2012, the God of War Saga Collection was released,
Ah, I
which featured
remember
God of
that,
War 1,
yeah.
2, 3, Chains of Olympus, and Ghost of Sparta. A pretty ambitious release, and a certain someone would get reeled back into playing the series.
Sathara?
After seeing how deserted the God of War speedrunning scene had become, This certain someone felt the need to revive the activity.
He's back.
Despite claiming that he didn't want anything to do with the game,
Hey, he's
God
back.
of War 1
Let's go.
still had so much left to uncover.
Seizure warning?
When the game was at its
Chat,
most
seizure
stagnant,
warning.
Sathara returned to God of War.
Alright. What the fuck? He used the harpy to jump over a ledge?
Oh yeah, Sathara was back, baby. Back with another collection of incredible skips and glitches.
With good
After already
quality.
breaking the Aegean Sea with his multiple minute-saving Hydra 3 skip, he had found 2 more to further shorten the level. The first one was a way to skip Hydra 2. In a casual setting, defeating all the harpies on the boat is required for the Hydra to pop through the wooden planks. Those same harpies could now be used for a skip to bypass the fight entirely.
Okay, this
if you
is the shit that
stand
he showed
on this
earlier.
chest, then wait until a harpy swoops down towards you, you can block its attack in midair, and it'll get stuck on the other side of the fence on the floor above you. With a precise grab, you can get Kratos onto the other side.
Please show it.
This is still a very inconsistent skip even today, with your only form of aid being a very strict window of an audio cue of the harpy screaming as it's swooping towards you. This also segues perfectly into Sathvara's next discovery. After some balancing beams and watching a cutscene, Kratos must push a box to take cover from an incoming volley of arrows.
Okay.
Sathara had found a way around this too. Instead of pushing the box, it was possible to reach the ledge early with a standard high jump. Comparing a skip like this to some of Sathvara's earlier findings, it's easy to assume that this skip was, perhaps, a bit overlooked, and should have been found earlier. The ledge, however, is only reachable on the PS3 version of the game. Maybe a slight porting error made Kratos' jump a tiny bit higher, allowing him to grab the ledge and save 20-odd seconds or so.
Wow.
This was cool and all, but Sathara still had more up his sleeve.
Bro, how is there so many glitches in God of War 1, dude? It's maybe because like the Hermes attack. The
Sathara's next discovery was quite huge, and is one that is still seeing use today. The strategy takes place in the Pandora's Guardian fight, in Challenge of Hades. Casually, you have to rinse and repeat a process of stunning the boss, then hurling logs at it to remove its armor bit by bit. Sathara had completely torn the fight to shreds. Here's how he did it. He first goes up to the crank that hurls the logs and pulls it. The first log will always miss, but what he uncovered was, if you pull the crank again at a very precise time in the cutscene, you can in fact hit the boss without doing the necessary stun locks. He does this a total of 3 times to remove all of the boss's armor, skipping ahead to the second phase in an instant.
You can just spam the lever grab? I didn't know that. Like you can just keep pulling it again and again and again, like in rapid succession.
Pandora's Guardian is still wearing its chest piece, but this is merely a visual bug. Even 10 years later, this is still the fastest way of doing the fight. A small skip that saved around 15 seconds from skipping the fight in the Pandora's Temple lobby was discovered by Sathara as well around this time. This skip nearly rivals the aforementioned sacrifice skip in terms of difficulty. The skip involves ledge grabbing a sword on the upper part of the door with a precise Poseidon's Rage high jump, then making your way around the lobby from above with whatever movement techniques you have available to you. The Blade of Artemis is not yet obtained by this point in the game, so Sathara opts to use Apollo's Offensive for further distance.
What is happening?
This technique is commonly called Apollo's Long Jump. Not an easy skip by any means. Yet another discovery that, I feel, was ahead of its time.
What the fuck is happening?
Sathvara's ability to find new sequence breaks made it seem like he was a machine, spitting them out one by one. But you have to remember that, at the end of the day, Sathara is a human being, just like the rest of us. And an unfortunate event would strike a family member of his at the very end of 2012.
No.
Sathvara's mother had suffered an unexpected life-altering stroke. Sathara slowly but surely lost interest in God of War as a result, and focused more on what was actually important. Helping his mother recover.
Yeah.
He never intended to leave the game so unexpectedly, but it's understandable that his motivation was simply not there anymore. Before disappearing from the scene, however, Sathara did drop one final bomb of a discovery, a finding that would fundamentally change the entire early game of God of War. This is the Port of Athens swimming glitch.
Okay.
In God of War, Kratos can swim on water surfaces from the beginning of the game, but diving underwater is only possible after you grab Poseidon's trident, roughly halfway through the game. Both Sathara and Acheon had experimented with skipping large sections of the game using what's known as the swimming glitch. In some cases, if you can manage to get Kratos pushed beneath the water surface using certain collision, entering free diving mode is possible before grabbing the trident.
No fucking way.
This was known to be possible in Challenge of Atlas, Challenge of Hades, and Cliffs of Madness, but weren't useful or faster by any means.
He's swimming through levels with no water, bruh.
However, on January 1st, 2013, Sathara would once again revolutionize the speedrunning route by finding a swimming glitch in the port of Athens that saved, well, a fuck ton. Let's just put it that way. Upon reaching Athens for the first time, there's a short cutscene followed by the game creating a new checkpoint. If you're fast enough, you can grab the ledge next to the ladder leading back down into the ship's cabin as you become checkpointed. If you retry from the last checkpoint, the game lets Kratos free fall during the loading time. Since Kratos cannot activate any triggers while the game is loading, he will fall down past the loading zone all the way down to the ocean floor instead of ending up back inside the ship.
You don't just fall
is
through the
freely
map?
able to move around as if he was on solid ground, and makes his way out of bounds to a small bridge where he can get pushed downwards to activate the free diving mode. By going through the ladder at the ship, Kratos is able to elegantly swim through the air freely, to go wherever he pleases.
What the
From here on out,
fuck?
you can just touch the necessary loading triggers to advance the game to the next part. Port of Athens, Gates of Athens, Athens Town Square, and the Temple of the Oracle were all skipped by swimming past them. The swimming glitch can only be cancelled under certain conditions, most commonly being to touch a pool of water somewhere else in the game, which the sewers before the Desert of Lost Souls conveniently have. The Port of Athens swimming glitch is still one of the most major discoveries in the game, and is a testament
This is
to Sathara's ability
insane,
to
bro.
think outside of the box, even after all these years.
This is insane.
2013 was the last time we saw any new discoveries in God of War from Sathara. While God of War 1 is certainly Sathara's greatest body of work when it comes to sequence breaking, he has also found plenty of notable discoveries in Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time, Castlevania: Lords of Shadow, another Metroid 2 remake, and Fast RMX.
He
to
just
name a
knows
few.
how to break games,
I spoke
man.
with Sathara while researching for this video, and he wanted me to be very clear about something. His 121 run from August 2007 was, as his YouTube description says, an experiment. He wanted to see what strategies he could discover in complete isolation, and he wanted to see what time he was able to achieve with the limited knowledge of his own discoveries. It just so happens that the knowledge he possessed was greater than any other player.
Yeah.
In his own words, when I was doing the run in isolation, I didn't necessarily think I was breaking new ground, even with regen magic or the rooftop skip. I thought there could have already been something way under an hour or something, like how the game would look in 2008. That was a distinct possibility all throughout the run. I would think God of War is a popular game, selling millions of copies. Surely, there's a real speedrun community out there. And yeah, despite a logical train of thought, one of the only speedrun communities out there for God of War was the Ultimate God of War Union forum. Sathara's entrance was definitely explosive, but he felt it was necessary to hype up the run a little bit.
Okay.
After all, the forum users had no idea what was coming. I asked Sathara if there was.
What was that
after all,
little
the
edit
forum
you put in?
users had no idea what was coming.
My absolute favorite line from the forums. I second that. You are a god among insects. Damn, that is one hell of a compliment.
I asked Sathara if there was still tension between
Or an
himself
insult.
and God Mode God after all these years. It seems to me that Sathara admires God Mode God's dedication as a leader to the God of War community and holds no grudges against the man,
Shoutouts to
but
GMG,
does not
man.
speak to him, as the two don't share much in common outside of the game, and they're both fairly inactive. Sathara also thinks God Mode God is a troll, so there's that. Sathara did suggest that I reach out to God Mode God to get his side of the story and to see if he felt the same way.
Okay.
I messaged him on Game FAQs and was greeted with some pretty lengthy messages detailing his thoughts on the whole situation back then.
Okay.
From what I gathered, God Mode God does not discredit the work Sathara put into God of War 1, but on a more personal level, he claims there's no bad blood, as he, quote, doubt Sathara ever really cared. But God Mode
Shoutouts
God
to GMG.
still seems to hold a grudge, and says that Sathara should not be let off the hook just because time has passed. His entry into the forum was rude, and he
I don't respect him. I don't like him.
has no respect for Sathara.
Wow.
And that's where that stands
Let it
as
go,
of now.
man.
If you wish to learn more about the history of God of War speedrunning and Sathara, Akion has a 2-part speedrun history series on YouTube that has a painfully low amount of views, so please go show the videos some love.
Alright, I guess we'll watch that at another time. I don't want to do it tonight. I want to make this separate. But in the future, we should definitely watch these as well.
Multiple segments in this video were inspired thanks to his amazing coverage. Akion is also a glitch hunter and runner who I really want to shed a bit of light on as well. He has broken so many different games, it's not even funny. But just like Sathara,
Let's just pause it. Max Payne 3, Horizon. Damn. Rise of the Tomb Raider.
his greatest body of
just
work
one
is God of War
pause.
1. He has even written a glitch FAQ for the game that's currently over 103 pages. If Sathara didn't exist, the runner-up for most influential God of War 1 glitch hunter is without a doubt this guy. Akion and Sathara were the glitch hunting dynamic duo back in the early days. Together, they collaborated and bounced ideas between each other to discover new strategies and techniques.
Yo, shout outs to these two legends, man. I can only hope to influence the God of War community as much as these two guys did. Like, holy shit, shout outs to them.
Through the YouTube comment section. Akion was also invaluable in helping me learn the speedrun for God of War 1 in 2017, and provided additional help in the research for this video. Thank you for that. All this coverage would also not have been possible without the man himself. It's truly an honor to be able to cover such a rich story like his on my channel. When I asked Sathara what skips he's the most proud of, he had this to say. There are no particular skips that I'm more proud of over others, as each was found by engaging in and trusting the process.
This guy's a legend.
I learned to take whatever the game gave back to me, whether I liked it or not. Sequence breaking doesn't actually break the game. It merely uncovers the truth of what was always there. Looking back, as an individual player, I think I could have done better. Still, what's most important is that I learned a great deal about speedrunning and sequence breaking through God of War, as well as from my interactions with the community, especially Akion, who is one of the most skilled glitchers I've had the privilege of working with. In the end, all I can do is contribute what I can, when I can, and hope I inspire others to do even better. Sathara set a standard for what was possible in the world of glitching and sequence breaking, but he believes better is always possible.
Yo, shout outs to the man. This guy is wholesome as fuck. Man said no glitch was better than the other.
All it takes is the right player with the right mindset to elevate the game to the next level. But as it stands right now, Sathara's work in God of War 1 is definitely the most prolific. The magnitude of his impact extends all the way up until our modern year of 2022. If we closely analyze the current single segment world record by Traj, one can find that 25 out of a total 41 skips were initially found and weaponized by Sathara. You can safely say that 60% of the run is directly influenced by a single individual, who all
That's
found
insane.
the skips 10 or more years ago. 60% is already crazy enough, but had Sathara kept playing, who knows where that statistic would lie. A game that took almost 3 hours to complete in a speedy setting is now down to a third of that. And who knows how much further it could.
The world record is 1 hour and 8 minutes. God, look at these insane times. Shout out to all these motherfuckers, dude. Notice how there's nobody from America on this list, by the way.
Be pushed with its seemingly infinite potential. Sathara really exploited this game through and through, at a time when breaking games to this level of advancement was not very present online. His
Sick.
goal all along was to fundamentally change the way speedrunners ran and how sequence breakers broke, and I hope this video will spread awareness to that exact goal. He was a man dead set on playing outside of the parameters of the game, all to showcase the beauty that is God of War. It just so happens that in the process, he broke the game in half.
Alright, that was a great fucking video. Like, holy shit, I had no idea God of War 1 was this broken. Like, all of these years I've been saying that, God of War 1 was one of the most polished games I have ever played. And now I see that there's a free diving. You can free dive in this fucking game. Like, that's insane. Like, all of these glitches are insane. The only one I've ever really known about was the infinite magic glitch, skipping Medusa's room. I love how in this video he did it a very complicated way, but now there's a much easier way. Really saying that the community kept up the breaking of shit in this game, but I had no idea this game was this broken. It seemed like one of the most polished games ever. And now my whole entire mindset is completely fucked by this, right? Like, I don't know, man. Like, this is absolutely fucking insane, man. I wanna actually. And I love how, like, he came in and no one believed him, and they were actually attacking him, and then he came in and just fucking said, "Fuck all y'all," and then he proceeded to revolutionize speedrunning for the game for so long. That's fucking dope. Holy shit. That's gonna be it for this reaction video, of course, but I do want to react more to stuff. This guy showed that the other person, Akion, I think his name was, he has a 2-part speedrunning video. So I want to check those out in the future as well. But I gotta say, this video was absolutely fantastic. His Twitter will be linked in the description once I end the stream. So if you want to follow him on Twitter, the creator of this video, you can definitely go ahead and follow him on Twitter. Shout outs to him. I did message him on Twitter asking if I have permission to actually react to this video, but he never got back to me. So if he says no, I'll completely take down this video. So if he gets back to me and be like, nah, I don't want you to react to it, I'll completely take down this video. Shout outs to him. Shout outs to the fucking speedrunning community for this. I had no idea there was such a huge community for God of War 1 speedrunning. Like, I don't know. If you're in chat right now, say something so I can actually say goodbye to you. I am going to end the stream here. So if you're in chat, say something. But I want to give a special shout outs to Figo for the $5 donation. I really do appreciate it, man. I hope I didn't miss anybody else's donation. But if you're in chat right now, just say something and I will shout you out. I don't know, this video was incredible. I love this video. Let's see who's in chat right now. Best Note says, John, you can actually play God of War 1 through PCX2. Yeah, I actually have God of War 1. I have it on the PS3. The 3-part collection. Gaming Space, thank you for being here. Ken Will, Georgi, Hamandra. I'm sorry if I completely destroy your name. Hemendra. Thank you for being here. Son Goku, my man. Manas, good to see you here. Osvaldo, Roach, Jake Woo, what's up, man? How you doing? Let me scroll up here. Corey Pittman, Cactus. Man, shout out to, we have so many people in this chat right now. Thank you all for watching. Says the highest number was 120 people in here, so shout outs to all of you. Radiant Kratos, holy shit, it's good to see you, buddy. Max Lord Gaming was John, high possibility that the game is releasing in September. I hope so. I hope September. Nerf LV. Okay. 5 red orbs. My fault, Georgi. Man. Malajo 101. Sorry if I destroyed your name there. Thank you for being here. All right, I'm gonna end the stream now. Thank you all so much for stopping by. More reactions are coming. I know you guys really enjoy when I react to stuff. But shout outs to this entire fucking video. This was incredible. But yeah, that's all I have to say. I'll see you in the next reaction video, and happy 4-year anniversary to God of War. I'm gonna be out of here. Thank you guys and girls for listening. Deuces. Marla, thank you for the $20 donation. Happy 420. Happy 420 to you, Marla. Thank you so much for the $20 donation.